guys.
Okay, well,
We'll go to the coast. Anthony can come with us, and he can go after college.
there you go. He's already said he doesn't want to do that. So, alrighty, we can go ahead and get started.
I'm in darkness.
Yeah, I'll fix that. I don't know why you're in darkness. That's really odd. Maybe it's because you're a light mage and you haven't attacked the darkness. See where you're at, honey. It for some reason it drew you into a different map, and it does that from time to time.
Okay. Well, just let you know.
Let's see where Kitty's at. You're there.
If I'm at the brothel, you can move me.
No, you're not at the brothel. You guys left off still inside the Mage's Tower having a private conversation. I don't think you had moved from there. If I remember correctly, you were having the conversation about not talking about things in front of lessers like William, the Squire, stuff like that, because those individuals become targets for... Try scrolling down, honey. See if you see yourself down further.
Nope.
Alright, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, okay.
It's just like you guys trying to keep girls in the dark.
Oh, you're not on this. Maybe over here.
Holy
Maybe
fuck.
back.
What?
Let's see if it resets you on this map. It should have now. Now try scrolling down. Get your map out as far as you can. Honey.
I did.
Did you?
Who?
Up there you are. See? You're down in that area. Yeah, these maps are kind of big, so you sometimes got to hunt for yourself. Well, when last we left off, you had just had a very enlightening conversation, is I guess the way to put it. You left off with entailing the fact that you're being hunted by the Council Libertane and who they are and what's all going on from that perspective. As you're wrapping up your conversation, you hear a knock on the door. And then you see a figure step in. He just walks through the door. You see the magical barrier that was put around the outside of it kind of ripple for a minute. Figure that walks through is a 5'6" elf. He is bald-headed, has large ears that kind of flow back. His eyes are kind of bluish-green in color. Part of his right side of his skull is replaced with metal. It looks like it's small little cubes of metal and not actually all metal itself, like a solid plate. It forms around to an eye that actually looks like it's part mechanical as well. Kind of clockwork in its pieces. It matches the right arm. In that right arm, and he is wearing a brown robe, nondescript. It looks like you could have bought this thing for a gold piece off any rack. It's even lightly tattered. You see he's walking with a staff of a bluish-green metal. That bluish-green metal looks like somebody roughly hammered it in their sleep, not knowing what they were doing because it's almost twisted in the way that it looks. It comes up to a top area where it actually is almost like a tuning fork. But in that tuning fork and around it are 4 gems pulsating with energy like ion stones floating around it. You see green, purple, and red energy kind of flowing in and out of them, and you watch every once in a while they come to sink into the metal itself. The metal moves so that the gems can be actually solidly placed inside the staff, so they accommodate it. Otherwise, you hear a click of metal as he walks, and he does walk with a heavy limp. You can see that right hand that's holding on to it is metal made out of these same cubes as well, some type of time-sworn technology. And you can see that it goes all the way up as he extends and moves. You can see up his forearm to all the way towards his shoulder sometimes as the robe comes down, that's that same kind of metal as well. You hear him say, "I hope I'm not disturbing you." You recognize this is Doris Sorrell, the one that was working with the girl. Said he was going to work on a spell.
No, you're at a good time.
New adventures with you, I see. It's amazing how you accumulate these things over a period of time. Some come, some go, some retire, some join. I worked on the time splicing spell.
Oh,
Nice to meet you as well.
Oh, yeah, don't worry, I don't want to know your name. I know enough people that have already died. I don't know if you'll be one of them. Sorrel, I have to interact with the angel. It's the only reason I care to know his name. There's too many graves and too many battlefields. You know the drift. You know the drill. We've all been there. I'm not one of the nondescripts that have risen through the ranks of the quagmire that's called civilization. I come from the same droves you did, walking through different dimensions, fighting different things that nobody wants to talk about until they're in a shielded room, and it makes them kind of cringe and the hair on the back of their neck stand up. Been there, done that. I don't do that anymore. Back to the spell, Sorrel. I was able to modify a time stop spell so that you can include another person. See, the problems with time stop is when you cast that damn spell, it only affects you. Now, I do understand how you use your Eldritch Mark, so I wondered if possibly there was a way of infusing the other person to actually have a semblance of the mark so that you can communicate through it and let them grab host of it, but that didn't work. In fact, the creature I tried that on blew up several times. So that was not a possible aspect. So what I did is I deconstructed the time stop spell and was able to remanipulate it so that you can name a target, but you have to know their true name. So I don't know what measures you're going to go to get the true name, but that's a little harder, because just because Bill calls himself Bill doesn't mean Bill's his fucking true name. You actually have to reach into the ether, and that might take a little bit more stronger divinations than, hey, what's your name kind of thing. So, and here's the other problem. I know he's already in an imprisonment. Now, I tried this multiple times with willing acolytes from the summer console. Okay? Spell worked fine, but we had a person that we understood was doing something to help for the greater good. So we had them do something totally opposite of their abilities to lose their powers. But we wanted to freeze them at the moment of time they would lose their powers by their god. So we had to get a Gaha Elder involved along with a Solar who could help us slowly make the divinational contact and break it from them, since we didn't have any violet rain around. It just happened to hit this guy. So, working in the area of the Summer Council, we were able to imprison him at the moment he should have lost his ability by the angel. The angel was very sure that as soon as he comes out of the imprisonment, he would lose his powers, and nothing we did with the spell stopped him from losing his power, even though he was casting the spell inside of the time stop. So, he looks to the rest of the audience out here, which is all of you. Sorrel probably gets this, but I don't know the varying degrees of arcane skill, so allow me to enlighten you. When a wizard casts a time stop spell, it's one of the most powerful tools of magic, right there next to a wish. He rips time apart with his bare magical energy. In this bubble of time, he creates 18 to 24 seconds he can exist in. During that period of time, he can run away. He can cast spells. He can bring out items. He can even activate them. But because he has ripped himself away from the power of reality, they don't take place until that bubble collapses 24 seconds later. When it does, everything he does catches up with a snap. Everything he does. Unfortunately, ripping that bubble open and doing things within it doesn't prevent time from rectifying the fact that Aroden's dead and his priest can't cast a spell. I have not been able to find an energy source that can do that. See, the problem we have is Aroden's dead. That divine magical reservoir of energy, look at him as a stream, a river, that flowed from him to all of his worshippers. When he died, it dried up immediately and instantaneously everywhere. So even though this priest is holding on to a portion of the river, he will lose that connection to the river faster than a time stop bubble popping would. So I've got a spell. You can encompass him in a time stop. He won't lose his prepared spells, but the river is empty that he would tap into.
Is it?
Well, obviously, yes. I've tried this over the last 4 months trying to do this. I understand you are this entertainer, Kitty LeBang, and I've met bards before, but why? Do you think I've missed something? Please enlighten me, Miss Super Smart Kitty Cat Girl.
Okay. Center of town
Yes.
that lights up the sky.
Yes, the first tower of Iomea.
What's lighting up the sky?
The Tower of Iomea. She rose, became a god.
Isn't that where the pieces of a shield of Aroden are?
Oh, shit. I didn't think about that. You see Dharma stand up and go, yeah, it's supposed to be the city artifact. It's broken. But it could hold a piece. That could hold a piece. So, Sorrel.
Yes,
Your
sir.
bard has an idea. It might work, but it's nothing I could help you with. This is divine energy. I can't mold, craft, shape it, none of that kind of thing. She's suggesting you take a piece of the shield of Arnescent, the shield of Aroden, that damaged the Whispering Tyrant, and use it as a battery for your priest. I don't know how you would do that. You need a holy person much stronger than I am in faith. And believe me, I'm an atheist. There's a lot stronger than me in faith. Probably the bug over there. I'm just saying. He points at Darmus.
I understand. We will see what we can figure out.
You see him grab his staff with his left hand. So he's holding it in his right. See him pull it apart as it begins to break, but it doesn't crack like it's shattering. As he pulls it apart, you watch little blocks of metal crumble out of it, almost like they're small ice cubes, but they don't drop, they float around, and you see them morph in the air between his fingers as you see his book appear. And it's a sealed tomb, 12 inches by 12 inches by 8 inches or 18 inches thick, and you watch it crack open. You see him look down, and you can see now the gems pop out of the top of it, and you see they're writing words onto the pages. You see him grab one of the gems, and then you see him pull it away for a second. As he does, it looks like it's tearing the page. But you see it right in the air and stitched together out of the air itself what looks like a scroll. He then throws the gem back over towards the book and grabs the scroll before it drops to the ground because it was floating like a piece of paper. So he snatches it with his right hand and holds it out to you. The book is still floating in front of him. Little balls of electricity glowing with those little crystals inside of him and electricity flowing down into the page. Here you go. There's a time stop spell. As I said, I would deliver. Now the girl can leave me the fuck alone.
Thank you.
See him snap his finger, the book slams shut, and you watch the pieces crumble like it just shattered into little cubes, reforms into a staff, and the gems are actually mounted into the staff, and then they come out and start floating around the top of the fork, the tuning fork. You are able to cast a time stop, right?
I am.
Okay. Then you'll need to study that one. It's a little different. The ritual to do this time stop, you're not going to do instantaneously. You're going to need a minute or two. And if I understand where you're at doing this spell, you might not have a minute or two. So I would beg a lot of big buffy guys. They like to smash stuff with big weapons. They might help you.
Oh no, wherever could we find such a person?
Well, that bug over there would help. He's pretty big. Darmus. Didn't want to know your name, but thanks for sharing. At this, I'll take my leave. There's nothing more I can help you with. Let the girl know. So who quit bugging me? I'm tired of the sendings. I really am. They're annoying. Malakarin Habata. Snaps his fingers. You watch. Energy pulsate. Flash a light. You guys hear as he's gone. You watch the spell you put around the dome. You watch it literally. You don't see it's normally invisible, but it becomes visible as it shimmers like a ripple of water going around the entire room. At the door swings open as Yanni comes in. What the hell was that? The whole building shook. You okay?
Don't worry. Yeah, we're fine. Don't worry
Okay.
about it.
I'll go let the students know. I don't know what that was. Please don't do that again.
We won't. Don't worry.
She leaves. She shuts the door and walks back out. Another knock on the door.
Come in.
Popular today.
You gotta release the spells.
Now. All right, I'll release the spells.
All right. Energy in the room drops. Power slowly fluctuates down. You see a figure outside the door. This is obviously a Templar. Messenger boy.
Hello.
I am sent by Temple. She requests your assistance. She had originally gone to Zigrol, and Zigrol sent me here to you.
Okay.
Temple?
Yeah.
Clockwork Temple?
No. Temple, the bald-headed elf, white elf.
Okay.
The investigator for visual.
No.
Everybody going with you?
Temple,
Sure, why not?
everyone, or just me?
It's however wants to go. Darmus says I'll chill here.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Actually, Darmus is going back over to the inn. Because he needs to swing by the clergy. He says, I'll catch up with you later. You can handle this, right? Looks like you got a big enough entourage.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to get reacclimated to the change. Some things I need to do. Okay.
Understood.
You guys take off, move across the White City, walking down the rose-vined buildings that are all whitewashed. You move through the different streets. I'm going to move everybody back over there to the big map. You were all at the Wizard's Tower. You're moving over towards the Religious District. Move everybody down there. Not everybody has a figure on the map. Usually one's good enough for the big one, so I just use Sorrel's. You guys get walking close to the cathedral. You guys, for those that aren't familiar, as you come down and walk by the tour, this is a large mound that rises up about 40 feet, then has 40-foot walls on top of that, all whitewashed, all growing with green vines and roses that bloom on it. Regardless of the season, roses are blooming on those walls. Not in one area, around the entire building. You also notice that different buildings, because the entire city is whitewashed, they have the same thing growing on them. Now you're coming to a buttressed cathedral. It covers almost an entire city block. But as you're getting close to it, you notice that there's like a barrack system around it. 2 stories over a second floor kind of walkways that span in between the roadways. So you could go from one side to the other without having to go all the way down to the street. This line's for about 2.5, 3 blocks lining up or coming up towards the cathedral row. As you're walking through here, you're met with a couple of Templars. You notice that there's a small castle-like building. You'd noticed it before, Chandler, because you've been there. Sorrel has. The rest of you, this looks like a mini castle or fort. It consumes about half a city block. It's about 2 stories high. As you're walking into it, you notice that it has 3 walkways that go up the outside of it. They kind of make it look almost like a ziggurat, but the stairs go kind of diagonally versus like straight up the center. And then it actually spans over to another identical building on the other side of the street. You're walking over towards it, and as you get towards its main porticus, which is up, you see a guard standing there, same Iomea robes, white, it's got the sword, the sun blazing on it. He's wearing a beaten helmet. It looks like it's seen many years. Same with his sword grip. You can see it's been beaten a bit as well. Sorrel, pleasure to see you. You
Nice to
recognize
see
this is Tomlin. He's one of the temple's guards.
Okay.
Temple was expecting you. Quite an entourage you have with you. Follow me. So we had happen about a day and a half ago. The patrols spotted a person making their way across the land towards the city. Didn't interfere with them too much, but when they got to the city gate, the magics that stopped the city gates, or from villainy from entering the city gates, kind of went off on it, but kind of not. There was magics hiding it. We knew this, but it came clean with us, and we collected its weapons and items, and it submitted itself to come here because it was asking for assistance. Now, I'm not stealing any thunder from Temple. The plea has already gone to Zagrol, but he's deferring because of part of a unique ask inside of it. And I'm going to leave that for Temple. And as you get down this whitewashed hallway of what, it's actually not whitewashed, and here it's actually a white marble, a little bit of gold in it. You get to a large oaken doorway, wrought with iron, opens up. You come into a 40 by 40 by 20 foot tall room. The back corner of this room, on the right hand side, is a desk, precariously perched in that corner with a seat behind it. 3 couches in front of that, but otherwise the rest of the rooms are lined with bookshelves. They're absolutely filled to the brim. There's a chandelier hanging in it from the second story up, but you notice there's a balcony above it as well. But you do not see a stairway to get up to that balcony inside of this room. You do see a doorway on your left-hand side, and that's the only other doorway besides the one you came in. As you walk in, you're seeing that there's rugs across this floor. Your boots, if anybody's wearing metal boots, are making this hollowy kind of click sound as you're walking across the floor. Sitting at the desk, this wooden desk is a kind of blackish gray oak, it looks like, in its grain pattern, but you notice it's inlaid with gold and silver as well. The chair behind it's a high-backed leather chair. Sitting in that chair is a very skinny elf with a pale white complexion, black eyebrows, but no hair. Large ears kind of curve around the back of her skull. She almost looks ghostly white. She even has a black dot directly underneath her chin. Otherwise, she's wearing what looks like the pieces of a mithril plate mail chest plate. You notice that it's kind of sectional, so it moves almost like half plate would, so it's a little more agile. Otherwise, couple pair of bracers. Underneath that's the traditional white Iomean robe. And in the center of that chest plate is a blazoned symbol of Iome as well. Otherwise, you notice an unusual thing around her waist, which is this battered leathered belt that has these small little shields on it as well. Anybody seeing it can make a knowledge arcane.
I was also going to ask over there, as we're walking over to it, who is Zigrel?
Knowledge history, you don't have to ask that question.
Okay.
For those that made the knowledge arcane, that is what's known as a Crusader's belt. They were created in the First Crusade, still kind of made today. You automatically know Zigrol is the Watcher Lord of the Citadel, or Vigil. Their king, leader, whatever you'd like to call him, is the Watcher Lord, and he is elected by the Prosenataries, who are all war leaders themselves. Normally the person that is picked is not royal, does not have any royal bloodline. They are picked from the crowd. And Zagrol is a half-orc who, by history, with their history check you got, is famous for actually saving parts of Varissia because there was a plot by an evil race of creatures to actually cause a second starfall where they would drop a mountain from the sky. But this time it was going to target parts of Varissia with this mountain of stone that it was trying to be called down. He was able to uncover that plight, proved himself in battle, and was eventually came here as nothing more than a knight helping the warriors fight against the undead and the orcs, and eventually rose and was elected Watcher Lord because of his skill and prowess in battle. Okay, that's who Zigrol is.
Okay.
That position is never something that's elected. It's always chosen by the other battle lords by what they've seen in the field. So it's a more military promotion is what it is.
Okay.
For those that made the knowledge or the arcane check, that belt being a Crusader's belt, those little shields on it are actually pretty cool. In a time of a pinch, somebody can grab one of the shields and literally throw it at another person, and it actually will block attacks coming against them. It shields them with a type of energy as it consumes the little shield. Protects them and also helps protect them from negative energy as well. It has a lot of other little benefits to it. It's a unique crusade item. Most of those were all fashioned in the first crusade, which was the crusade that Arnis sent. The one who was bearing the shield that got destroyed was in, along with Iomea as well, the one that rose to become the god of this town. She stands up. Sorrel, it's a pleasure to see you and your entourage again.
Hello, Temple. It was good to see you as well.
Is it just me, or is your party like Omibai, dividing and creating more? When last we spoke, I thought there was only 3 or 4. There's a lot more now. I don't believe I've made the acquaintance of all of you, but I do know who you are. So I do thank you. So, the reason I've asked you to come here, there's no light way to put this. He says, please open the door. I know he's waiting out there. As the door slowly opens, you see a figure walk in. Gnomish Engineer, you can describe your character without your gear, though.
Absolutely. Would that be including tattoos? Like,
Yep.
they carve this shit
Well,
out?
unless you're covering it with clothing.
Okay, perfect. Character stands at right around 6'7" and 280 pounds, so pretty big and beefy. It's a full-blooded orc with large tusks, dull green skin, and covered in geometric tattoos, and just the standard eye and hair color of black as hell.
Do you hide the unusual mark you picked up? The birthmark?
That, it's going to be on the right shoulder, so it'd naturally be hidden by clothes.
Okay. As the figure steps into the room, all of you feel the tingling sensation you felt before. It's kind of Highlanderish. It's the quickening. There you go. As you step into the room,
Slightly.
you feel that tingling sensation as well. You kind of automatically feel a connection amongst you. Well, I can
Yeah,
notice
I
by
do.
the raised eyebrows, you're all getting that hoodoo voodoo feeling you get there, Sorrel. It's part of the job. You guys have so many tells. So, whoop, somebody's breaking up really bad.
Yeah, my internet's going to hell.
Okay, we heard you good there. Try it again.
Oh. Alright, my internet's going to hell. Also got kicked off of Roll20. I was wondering if this is the same type of vibe I got from notable enemies I've had in the past, or is it more similar to the dead people I've seen on battlefields?
This is something totally different. This is a connection. Well, you've seen some of those dead entities that had that same mark, and you could feel a lingering sensation, but this is a living, breathing connection you feel to the others in the room. Almost like a brother that you never had kind of feeling. But it's not overwhelming your feelings to hurt or do anything. It's not like, oh, you feel like you're inclined not to hurt them or anything else like that. You just feel this unusual energy between you, like an old friend. But it makes that tattoo tingle, like it's numb.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, our friend here, you can introduce yourself.
Sure not. Thought we went over this.
Kind of. You're introducing yourself to them. He's come here from the Hold Belkson.
Really?
Yes. I won't steal his thunder. Well, I'm going to anyhow. Correct me if I'm wrong here. Your overlord from Ularg wants a armitrist with Vigil and Lastwall because of the Spellfire Plague. And if I get it right, you're come here to help them figure out what's causing said Spellfire Plague, or kill whoever's doing it. Did I get that kind of right?
Absolutely.
So Zigrul was like, no one here in Vigil's working on the Spellfire Plague. Now an armistice with the hold of Belkson? That's something that's a little hard to believe. But he brought us the gift. I'll spare you the gift because it's in Zigrul's possession. It was ahead of 2 commanders that actually led the raid against the Fort Famir and sent the orcs that did the battle on... She kicks out a day. Brian, that was the day you fought orcs and Dharmas fought orcs and Ivanovas fought orcs at Fort Famir. Okay?
Okay.
She said, he goes, this is the warlord's heads that commanded that, and they've such been replaced with warlords that know their place and will keep an armistice as long as forces don't push into Belkson. Zigrul has agreed to do this. So there is a temporary armistice while we're dealing with the spell plague. Belkson has also noticed you increased undead, right? She looks to you.
That's one of the main priorities.
Yeah. So you know, during the first war with the Whispering Tyrant, your people is aligned with him.
And we paid the price.
Yeah, you did. It's smart to see a knowledgeable orc. That's impressive. But, back to what Zigrul. Zigrul said can't deal with him. He's on a different quest. His quest is to do, like he said, kill the guy or whoever did the spell plague or to help you guys do it. That has no alignment with Vigil. And his presence here in Vigil would cause a disturbance. He is a known warlord. He has been seen on battle. I have kept him sheltered from Roland, because I am very positive Roland has seen him on the field of battle a few times. So our ask is, he has the ability to change his shape, and he did that to get across last wall. We'll put him up at the Shield Handmaiden Inn until you leave. Are you willing to accept responsibility for him? You know, if he dies, it could end the armistice if they do a divinational magic.
I understand, and I accept.
Okay. Well, then I'll clean my hands to this one. She said, she points at you, and she goes, now, you be a good little orc, and don't kill any soldiers in town, okay? We'll have no problems.
Excuse me?
She smiles, picks up a book and starts writing in it.
Please don't kill anybody.
I wish I had access to roll 20.
Giving her a big stare.
You don't need your legs to live. Or your tongue.
It's true.
But understood.
Well, Sorrel, if need be, Darmus is incapacitated at the moment. I could always use another...
So,
protector.
she walks over to you and hands you a medallion. Says, while in town, you'll need to wear this. My big green charge.
I analyzed the medallion before putting it on.
Casting spells.
I was going to utilize the tattoos to get my orky vibes off of it.
Okay. Go ahead and do your orky vibes.
access
Is
to
that a detect magic?
Unfortunately, roll 20 still isn't working for me,
Okay.
so
Is
I
that...
have to pull it up on my phone.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Is that like a detect magic you're going to do?
Yeah, it's a detect magic, which I then follow up with either spellcraft or null or whichever one is more applicable.
Okay.
Maybe spend mythic points to further enhance it. I'm just trying to make sure that there is no like mind breaking or any type of hexes that I'd have to worry about further down the line.
You look at it.
Jesus Christ.
You look at it, and it does have some abjurational and transformational magics on it.
I think that this is something to cut me off from any type of transformative actions I could do, or
No,
is it more offensive in nature?
it looks offensive. Kind of like if it looks like, well, if you fuck around, it might be something that hurts you. So you wouldn't do any less to a human that came to Ogar. They would be put in chains and thrown in a dungeon. So her giving them a necklace that might hurt you, you're pretty tough. It's pretty small, you know. So there's that side of it. What's your intellect?
Oh,
Are you over
right
20
now,
for an intellect?
9.
Oh, 9? Yeah. It's little. It's not going to hurt you, even if it was to hurt you. For all you know, it'll pop like a little firecracker and burn your chest. There you go. Little people,
All right,
little magic,
slide
right?
it on.
All right. As you do, you feel it glow and tingle your chest a little bit. There we go. We're all fine now. We're all one big family. She goes, I have other things I need to do. Bring Roderick up here, please. Yes, ma'am. As you guys are leaving, anybody that has over 12 perception sees her reach into her desk, which is obviously bigger on the inside than the outside, much like Doctor Who's cabinet, and pulls out a large scabbard of a sword, looks like a cutlass, and it's in what is a solid green steel-looking case embedded with gems. On the back side of it looks like a dragon's head biting onto a blade that's sheathed, that curves its tail around and becomes the actual grip to it. Anybody that's got knowledge arcane can do it. It's a high roll.
Let's give it a go.
Stand back.
For the right
All
roll.
right, trying to access my character sheet now.
Okay. Anybody gets higher than a 35 understands that is an ancient Omerian blade. They were known as blades that actually drained power from mages. That one is actually known because it's been around the Inner Sea area quite a bit. That sword is called Rim. What happened was a white dragon fell asleep on a hoard of treasure it liberated. This Omeian blade slowly drained the entire psyche and soul of that dragon. Now it's imprisoned in that blade. So that blade literally has the power of ancient or higher white dragon stuck inside of it. And that blade is called Rim.
Wow.
Who's it being given? Who's giving it, and who's it being given to? Again, sorry.
Nobody's getting that at all. She said call Roderick, which, if you made the knowledge arcane, recent history of the blade says it's been in the possession of a rogue by the name of Roderick. He's a Taldorian thief. So it's in his possession. You guys leave. Door shuts.
Yep.
You see as you're walking out the hallway, you see walking down the hallway is a half-elf, black-haired figure in really nice fancy clothes, high soft boots, accompaniment of sword belts, even though there's no swords or scabbard on it, and he's in chains. And he's like, really, do we have to use the chains? And they're like, you have been summoned. And he's kind of like, he moves his arms and hands them the chains. Yeah, and here's your chains back. See them stop, put them back on. Okay. You watch him grab the chains and puts his chains and cuffs back on. This is really getting silly.
I don't know who this guy is. Can I?
Knowledge history. Anybody makes over 25 knows. He's gone by a bunch of names. Okay. He's a thief and he's a con man, and he's been working most of Chiliax and Taldor for the last 5 years. Lots of scams, lots of schemes, lots of people want him. He's never done anything to kill anybody, let's put it that way. He's not wanted for murder. He's not wanted for like robbing a king's treasury, but he has cheated a lot of people. A lot of bad people, but he's still cheated a lot of people and broken the law.
Then why is he here?
Unknown. You probably got busted for a crime. You're in the halls of justice where Temple resides, and she's the final magistrate. So he's probably done a crime, and he's going to be punished for his crime. That's the way that shit goes.
Okay.
Got to remember, there's a lot of people who try to get over to Gallowspire and Lastwall, and if you guys were to adventure over into the area of Ustalav, that's Gallowspire, you're breaking vigil law. You'll come back here to a capital punishment. They don't take lightly to anybody fucking around by the Whispering Tyrant's citadel. No ifs, ands, or buts. You cannot go there. It is against all laws. It is a capital crime.
The Whispering Tyrant
Yes.
castle type thing. Have we got any information on the castle?
Yeah, it's actually his base of operations. If you make another knowledge history, I'll give you the laydown of that and what that actually entails. Give you what everybody else knows from a scholarly perspective. Okay, that's good enough. About 4,000 years ago, there was a necromancer who killed most of his people and rose them up from the grave. The necromancer's name was Tar-Bifon. Okay? He was killed by a soon-to-be god by the name of Aroden. Okay? His cult found his dead body on the field of battle and buried it. 1,000 years later, a lich rose out of that grave, calling itself the Whispering Tyrant. But it is the same necromancer, Tar-Bifon. He's just now a very, very powerful lich. Okay? Now, that was about 1,000 years ago. All right? When he rose from the grave, per se. He then rose an army by killing most of the city around where he was buried, and then 15 cities to the north or to the east as well, rising up an army of hundreds of thousands of undead. He started to sweep across all of the northern region of Ustalav, which is your neighbor to the north in this area of Lastwall. And the orcs of Belkson helped him as well. During the last days of the battle, he slew a demigod, which is known. One of the commanders on the field of battle left the actual conflict and came back as a goddess by the name of Iomea. And then finally on the field of battle, a shield was given by this new god Iomea to a general by the name of Arneson. This shield was from the god Aroden, the one that had originally slew him thousands of years ago when he was still mortal and not a lich. Well, this wizard, this Whispering Tyrant, this Tar-Bifon, his primary way of attacking was wishes. So he wished the heart of Arneson into his hand. When he did, it shattered the shield, and the only thing he got in his hand was a sliver from that shield that burned him with a white fire. That fire was starting to consume him, so he fled back into his base, which is the tower, Gallowspire. When he fled there, the Shining Host, or the First Crusade, broke through the enemy's lines, decimated them since their leader was no longer on the battlefield to help them, and then used powerful magics to seal him inside of that tower. And for the last 1,000 years, this place, Lastwall, has done daily patrols through that area to make sure nobody's trying to set him free. Because they know they didn't kill him. Okay? So that's what this whole area, Lastwall, it only exists because of the remnants of that First Crusade are still doing a watch. Now, there's been several crusades to try to clear the whole area. This is the third one that you're on now. But none of them have been able to get back into the Gallowspire region fully and destroy him. Because of the amount of undead, the necromantic storms that are out there, all of those kind of things. Okay? So that's kind of the region. Everybody comes here. If any of you are familiar with the Game of Thrones, look at Lastwall as the wall. So if you commit a crime anywhere else in Glorian, you can actually have that capital punishment commuted to conscription to work here. So this place gets the downtrodden, the destitute, the thieves, the holier-than-thous. They all come here to serve as this last line of barrier. Because after Ustalav, as you go north, you get to the World Wound. So you've got a buffer of evil between evil. You have the World Wound, which is even further north, which is a hole directly into the abyss, that there are several ward stones around that keep the abyss from encroaching even further. Then you come down a little bit more and you've got Ustalov, and then you've got Last Wall.
Okay, so the tyrant is frozen in stasis at this moment in his tower. Is he
He's locked in it, but
walking around being a pain?
That's unknown.
Inorganized.
That's unknown.
Right.
What actually happened with him going into the tower isn't something commonly known in history. That would be something you'd have to research in the archives here. If you wanted to know what happened that last day of the battle, the notes are probably here from the different commanders on the field, religious notes as well from the different priests, but that would be something that took time to research, just like the party took time here to research what priests were taken off the battlefield. Because, see, this war went on for almost 50 years. And this war was very, very powerful characters were in it. It wasn't your, I got peons from the farmlands helping me fight. You had people doing mass heals. You had people doing true resurrections to call generals back off the battlefield that had died at the hands of giant undead that wielded powers of great sorcerers. You know, this was not a trivial battle. And I don't want to make Tar-Bifon sound like he's just another lich. Because he was a lich that killed a demigod and threw her battle on the battlefield. In front of the paladins she served. Mastered her like a puppet. So, he's a very powerful, almost divine thing. So look at it that way. So this isn't a land of undead run by a bunch of just run-of-the-mill liches and some vampires that might be hanging around with a couple 100,000 skeletons. Think, what if I killed you and you died out there? You would rise. You would be in my service. Or whoever a commander is out there, because the generals were all hunted down and killed. And that's the thing you guys really do need to worry about. Your research has told you, you die out there, you're rising as an undead. Your soul's stuck up there because of those necromantic storms. Which means you could be under the command of other liches out there, other vampires. And then what would your powers do against this group once you become my minion of evil? That's why treading lightly as you go up there is a smart thing. Now, yeah, sure, there's hundreds of thousands of one-hit die skeletons you guys will blow through. But there's also a lot of knights that led a lot of crusades that are still walking around out there too. So take that into consideration. So be careful.
Yeah, that's nasty.
Is it possible? Oh, I'm sorry.
Just say that's nasty. Really nasty.
Yeah. Now you do know that he created necromantic engines. That's what was talked about in the last game. He has a way of powering his necromantic devices from the Gallowspire, which is still active. It's not time stopped. It's not forbidden or imprisoned or anything. It's still generating necromantic energy, and somehow it keeps boiling necromantic storms that bleed blood and bones. Now, the party has seen these blood and bones erect into armies of undead. But they're just not like a whole bunch of first level zombies. Sometimes it rains giant parts. And giant armies of undead rise. On top of that, the forest area and other areas around there have these things called a witch gate. So when this whispering, when this Tar-Bifon, this necromancer, was trying to conquer the world, to protect his home base, he built these witch gates that deflect teleportation and gate spells and put you in a specific location he wants you to land in. And obviously it's not because he wants to give you a great greeting and say hello. So first off, imagine he understands the power it takes to teleport because he's a mage himself. So he understands the power of the being that's going to be landing there as well. And he did these gates all over his area to stop people from doing what you guys might do. Just teleport in, do a couple spells, get the hell out. So when you guys go there to do your spell, you're walking into that forest. You may not have access to dimensional holding bags. If there's a dimensional anchor in the area, which the party talked about a little bit, they've hit them before, these dimensional anchor areas stop access to portable holes, to bags of holding, until you walk out of the area, because you can't teleport. You can't astral slide, you can't project image, or you can't, astral project, you can't do any of those things. So kind of grasp all that. That's the level of play you're at right now. So at the level of play you're at, some of the creatures do a dimensional lock, and the party just got done spending literally a year and a half in an area of forest that they couldn't teleport out or enter in any dimensional spaces.
Okay.
And they hit it out of the oh shit blue. This time it's not an oh shit blue.
Out of curiosity, can we set up a dead man switch of sorts so that one of us dies and those lands or soul is destroyed? I understand that this would keep us from being ever resurrected, but it would be useful to keep us from being turned into enemies as well.
Well, that would depend on the conversation you guys had in the room. Sorrel, did you cue them in on what you think's powering the mythic abilities they have?
I would have. Yeah, I don't think we actually talked about it, though.
Okay. Then I'll leave that for another conversation. But you have heard from others that when people die, they've been doing things like Breath of Life to bring them back. You could always buy a gem and give it to the Empress. She can resurrect.
Well, I understand. It's just that if we ever have to go into one of those cursed lands, I personally, as a character, would much rather have my soul fucking ripped to shreds than me come back to kill somebody.
Oh, yeah. But you look at the faces of the others around you, and Dharma's already mentioned, guard your minds, because he's unfortunately been dominated and killed people, his friends. So it's already happened to this group.
That's why I need a new bodyguard.
Yeah. So, as you walk outside, the roses smell overwhelms you. The blue sky above you is just incredible. You're looking out on a beautiful morning. You can smell what smells like chocolate croissants, and it also smells like, from another area, maybe something like an ice cream, lightly, a vanilla-y flavor. And then you can also smell what smells like cooked potato cakes. It's about mid-afternoon. A few people walk by you. Good day, governors. And Sorrel, you have your sword mark, so you walking with your staff?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm definitely going to go get some food.
Okay.
Because I don't...
You guys walk out of the area, and right outside the halls of justice that you're just leaving, you see there's a small pavilion set up of carts and stuff. It's probably to feed the people because it's getting closer to lunchtime. And you see a few vendors of rolled up carts. They're kind of like rickshaw based, little small ones that they've got different things on. You got chicken on a stick, you got bird on a stick, you got, deer on a stick.
Cow on a stick.
You got everything, Snake on a stick, you name it, Just no intelligent life forms on a stick. That's what you don't got. Otherwise, little handheld things of vegetables and stuff like that.
I'm going to go get something to eat from there. I don't think he's had any breakfast because we were downstairs, and that's when he found out he was with other people who had weird...
Very true. Most of the party hasn't eaten in a day. Because of the traveling they've been doing, and they've been more focused on that.
I've been trying to get Sorrel to make me popcorn for 4 days.
Ugh.
William's like,
Well.
if you don't mind, sir, I'm going to go grab me a stick. He jaunts on over, flips a copper up there. The guy gives him a small little bird, or it looks like a drumstick on a stick.
Yeah, I'm going to chuck a silver, actually, because that's how hungry I am.
Okay.
And get...
This lady, the one you go up to, has several different types of meats. Also has some like crunchy breads, almost like a naan bread.
Yeah, I'll take some of them, some of the meat.
Medieval walking taco, man.
Portion of vegetables.
Medieval walking taco.
Cool.
She gives you extra flavor and seasoning. It's amazing. It's got a kind of hot bite to it with a fruity kind of aftertaste to it. It's really good. She gives you back some copper's change.
Okay, I'll go and sit down, basically.
Okay. There's benches all over the place. Every city block has a small bench for you to sit and read on. So you can go over and sit down on one of those.
Okay, I'll sit down, take the first bite, and it's like it's one of those, you know, sugar overload type
Yeah.
things. He just sort of literally falls back against the chair and is in a dream world as he's chewing away. Because it's probably the first time he's had food in a long while.
Oh yeah.
So he is literally wallowing in his own pig. You know, it's like, oh my god, I'm gone. I'll be here for the rest of the day probably.
Speaking of pig, I'm going to look for, and I quote, a small pig on a stick.
I'm horrified.
So, you guys take your lunch break, you eat. Lots of people come walking out from the halls of justice. I mean, easily. Now, this is the surprising part of this town. When you hear one of the bells ring, you see literally about 1,000 people come out of the halls of justice. Those two little forts, they must be buried deep underground as well. Because I'm not kidding, 1,000 people come out and at least another 24 carts came up. Just to help feed them on. They all kind of walk through a line. You notice the same time there are a couple of jugglers show up and start juggling. You hear a few complaints, you know, from some of the people. Not complaints about the food. It's just like, I don't know what they're so happy about. Don't they know what's going on out there? And you hear a couple other guys kind of nudge them and go, hey, just because you got busted stealing down in Taldor doesn't mean you got to piss on everybody else's parade. Enjoy the day. Don't know what tomorrow's going to bring around here. Yeah.
Oh, I could stay here all the time. You just hear from him. He's off in his own sugar, meat, bread, comatose state at this moment.
You got images of sugar plums dancing around in your head. What's the rest of you doing, Sorrel? Anything else? Let me ask you this. What's Sorrel's plan now that the go dig up the guy and do the freedom spell is not really an option? What do you do next?
That's a good question.
Kitty had a neat idea. But I don't know how you're going to get a sanction on something like that. Probably have to go through Zagrol.
Just bat your eyes, Sorrel. Tell him you just need a little tiny piece.
There you go.
I just need a piece of that saint, please. Just a small piece. What are you going to do with it? Oh, I don't know. Probably bash it up into a powder.
Yeah. Do you want to come along and see if you can charm Zagrol this time?
Sure. Let's do it.
Darmus isn't with you. So you guys, since you have sword marks, are going to have to invite everybody back over to the inn. Unless everybody's going with you to talk to Zagrol. Is that what you're doing?
No. We probably need to go back to the inn and make sure we get our... Kitty and I can explain exactly what Darmus is thinking.
Okay.
Very sure. I can charm Zagrol. He's one of my people. At least halfway. We have a way of understanding each other.
Maybe you
Too
should get
complex to describe.
maybe you should get Gojin's input too. Oh, Brian, you got your gear back, by the way. You got your sword mark.
What? How come everybody
Oh,
got
really?
their sword mark? I was out there with them too.
No, you weren't.
Too.
You were in there reading fucking books back at the Pathfinder's
So
Lodge.
was I out there?
Yes, you got out there and the next day you came right back. You came out there with the cards to come back with them.
So I was still out there. Damn it.
I visited. I was a tourist, damn it. I should get a stamp on my passport for going out to Fort Fimmer. I saw the undead burning.
See,
That counts. It's dunk.
like at the club, they stamp you with this black light stamp. I was there.
Yeah. Okay, you guys make your way back across town. No encounters whatsoever. It's a beautiful afternoon. Nice cool breeze blowing through the place. You can smell the crops every once in a while since the breeze is kind of out of the east, about 5 miles an hour. You can smell the crops growing out there. So you get this overwhelming smell of corn and a little bit of a smell of what's kind of like, if you've ever been around soybean fields, that kind of smell too. That really earthen smell. So,
Hey, Sorrel, do you have your little your child with you?
I'm not a child. My name is William.
I apologize, William. Can you make fire, William?
Yes, but not in the middle of town. It's against the law.
Just go out to the cornfield with a bowl and set some corn on fire.
I can't do that. It's against the law because the crops are not to be damaged by malicious intent. It's one of the laws. That's malicious intent.
Okay, I'm gonna scribble something. Here, Sorrel says it's okay.
Sorrel is not a leader of the city.
Wait. If it's sacrifice to the gods, it's not malicious intent, because it's to gain the gods' blessings, as I do the sign of the cross in the air.
Yeah.
I don't think the gods would bless
Therefore,
my
it is
popcorn.
acceptable.
Holy popcorn would be amazing.
You have some
all trying to
unusual
lead-
companions, Sorrel. He's walking with you.
Okay.
You're all trying to.
Child to light something on fire.
Yes, you're all trying to lead him astray, all in the name of popcorn.
Oh.
We'll show him the recipe when we get to the bar.
Okay. You guys get to the bar. You walk in. There's a total of. I'm actually gonna get out some dice. There are
You want my dice?
24 people in there, right? I got one. There's a total. Wow, it's a busy day. There's actually 20 people in the bar as you guys come in. I will move you to the bar.
Okay. Today is a crowd.
But Darmus is arm wrestling someone on the
Oh,
corner.
wrong one.
Well, that's good because I can't see.
That's the right one. There we go. Sorry, I dragged you guys to the wrong one. Here you go. Except when you guys get in here, it's almost standing room only.
Busy place.
Food must be good. Drink must be good in this place.
Caravan
Yeah.
showed up. You can see a lot of horses outside. Darmus is not here.
Wouldn't be surprised if he was with Empress right now.
A lot of commotion.
Need some orange juice.
Okay, and 25%. Yow. I knew I would see you here. Sorrel, as you walk in, you see the whole crowd. You easily, with your passive perception, which is your base ranks, even though we're not playing 5e, your passive perception and ranks, you notice sitting at the bar is a very unusual looking gnome fellow with big curly boots on, a flamboyant starry colored robe, red kind of like billowy shirt, blue breeches tied at the ends, rings on his fingers. You notice he's wearing a little bit of a hat that his ears curve up and around, and he's kind of making a jingly sound. It's Jessica. Oh, Sorrel, there you are. I did hear you were here. I think that's mighty nice.
Jessica, how did you find me?
I wasn't looking for you. I came here to do some trade. You know the Crusaders, they run out of a lot of stuff. There's a shit ton left out on the field. Now, you know, if you've got the time and you can collect up some of that magic stuff out there, I will give you excellent prices for that stuff. You know, but otherwise, the Tar Heel Promenade and the Wheel Unbroken, you know, they craft a lot of stuff, so we keep pumping it out here to fight the war. It's the only thing we can do for the effort and for the courageousness of all of those out there. How's Asata doing? She doing good, I hope?
She's good, yes.
Still as pretty as always? Haha, nudge nudge. No, I have no reason for being here except, you know, this is, they wanted to get mark things and like, hey, go help join the city. No. I'm a merchant. I'm okay staying in the bar. I don't need to carry my shit in town. I'm totally okay with that. But you know me, wink, wink. Never far from my stagecoaches. That makes your mind flicker back to the extra-dimensional space he can call at any time that has every bit of his gear in it.
I know exactly what he could do.
He said, amazingly, when I got to town, I really didn't have anything to check in.
Weird that, yes.
So why are you all here? I knew you were in Aroden. Last time we talked, you were like, Ikawad's gonna fix that forge we came across down in the Underdark thing. And you all are gonna bang that thing out and make mythic items again. And it was the Way of Steel. You know, that's the way that dwarf always talked about shit. Way of Steel. I don't see him anywhere. It's safe to say that, right? He's not gonna come around the corner and punch me.
No, he's still working on the forge. He didn't get the contract to mine the wall to get the mithril he needed to fix the forge this time.
You know, I got a friend that works inside the city council district that actually does the mining provisionings for the wall. I should go have a talk to them. Thank you for letting me know that. I'm going to put in a word for Ikawad, see if we can get him on the wall. So I know you guys had some things broken. That damn Drywood, she was a bitch. Oh my god. Pardon my unproverbial Chilexian there, but she was a real bitch.
And did a number on gear, yes.
Well, you picked up a whole lot of compatriots over there. Well, you're not the only angel in the group anymore, huh? Do you angels multiply when you're taken out of blighted forests or something? Is there like some cell division that goes on or something like that?
You are the second person today to ask about cell division. I'll have to study this.
It's because I had to be interviewed by Temple. She was asking me if gnomes were multiplying because she had 2 other gnomes in her jail. I think that Inquisitor is a little too smart for her britches.
She knows a lot.
So orange juice?
There's a $3 item.
Oh, I thought that's 300.
No.
Oh, no. Okay, Joseka's like, so, how are you doing? You guys, like, all, like, good and safe and all? I heard there was, like, some, rapture event for you guys getting your, like, symbols. Freaked out a good portion of the community. They're like, wow, there was bright light coming out of the cathedral that day. Did your mom show up or something, man? I heard about those stories, you know. Her angelic core and stuff, you know, she comes riding in high on all them angels and stuff. Was that what happened? Your mom showed up for you to get a sword marking? Shit, I thought it was like a tattoo and you just had to have a couple beers before you went and did it.
Your stories have been greatly exaggerated.
This town must really
Sorrel,
need
we're
its
talking about me now. There's no exaggeration taking place whatsoever about my wares or the things happening with you. I am just relaying what the common man is saying.
The common man is
Hi.
a great imagination.
I spent months and months trying to find a way to bring chaos to this place. I didn't find one area I could. This place is secure as shit. And as far as out in the fields go, man, that's not even chaos. That's insanity out there.
You're talking about the war zones.
Yeah.
Telling you, make popcorn.
That's insanity, man.
World.
Unless they get other people here to stop that and find some way to keep that lich from bringing people back up to die, that's never going to end.
Maybe that's why you're here, you know. We were in the forest for a reason, right? All those fays are free in that Gallowspire, you know.
Yeah.
She was pretty tough. You think this lich thing's tougher than her? She was pretty fucking tough. You guys gonna be okay doing this stuff, man? I mean, seriously now, we're talking about these crusaders. There's some pretty tough ones. I've been around here a few times now, and I know there's a lot of non-big ass bashers, but there are some bashers equal to you guys, and they're not able to resolve the problem. Are you guys?
I can't tell you what happened.
Now I did hear. Okay, I know you guys have been here, and you guys probably did some research. But I did find out that that Whispering Tyrant dude, right? That Tarbyphon guy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know how we kind of got our ickety pickety poundness, right?
Yeah.
He had set up a wish that he could steal some power and rise again if he was slain by a god. And that's why he rose. He didn't do, we came, something that we understood, that we expunged from our minds. But we remember we expunged it, right? He never used that process. So he may be stronger in that weird ickety-pickety powness than we could ever be. That in and of itself is very scary. So you guys aren't going against him, are you?
I don't think so.
Okay, cool.
That's not the plan.
Okay, cool. That's probably really safe then.
Well, I'd still say safe is relative, but... No, I don't think I'm walking into an utter suicide mission, I'll put it that way.
What was that popped up here? Was this a list of something he wants?
What's that?
I don't know, some list popped up on my screen.
Oh no, if I'm looking in character sheets, it'll bounce you to the screen I'm looking at.
Oh, okay.
No, that's the stuff you have. That's your character's gear. I just moved you off of skills because I was looking at something in your gear. Because you have your weaponry, and I wanted to know if Jezeka would see it, and if Jezeka would see it, he might think something, and you do. So, where are you going next, then? Sorrel? I'm not going with you.
I know.
But I always have wares that could help you guys, right?
Yes.
At a hell of a discount,
It's always appreciated when you come by, Zashidaka.
Well, if you do need things, I'm going to be at the inn for the next 4 days. And I have my whole caravan with me, wherever I'm at.
Is he only talking to one of us, or are we all there? I'm not.
Well, he's talking to Sorrel, and they're interacting like they really know each other very, very, very deeply.
You get used to it.
Hi, kitty.
Hi.
Right.
Sorrel, if you would excuse me for a moment, I just thought of something and I wanted to look it up real quick.
Also, I've got to go upstairs and tend to something. So my room's the third door on the right, and it's always the same word to open my door. You get it? It's my door, right? My door.
Or
He walks upstairs.
When we knock on your door.
Yeah, if you're with Sorrel. If not, fuck off. He walks upstairs. Nothing personal. Just don't know ya.
Yet. That's how you meet all friends.
Yeah.
He's done. He's upstairs. His boots are jingling as he went upstairs. Those double spiraled bell boots. Hell yeah.
Hey, Sorrel, what is this access room to get him to open his door?
well, you just have to knock on his door.
You know it's a safe place to talk to if you needed it.
Ah,
Remember?
no.
It's his control. It's his demiplane.
Oh, okay. I follow now.
Yeah. It's his door to his demiplane. His door is his door because he always made it look like a bar door, remember? It looks like a totally nondescript bar door floating in the middle of the air. It's because he's always staying in bars, so he wanted it to look like a bar door.
It's brilliant.
Yes, just like it was. Anyway,
It's
expect
good
is
to
my
know
oldest
someone
kid.
to buy stuff from.
No, if you want to. Yeah, we can go.
So everybody going upstairs, grabbing a drink from the barkeep, going upstairs.
Yeah, get a
Sure.
couple orange juices up
Go
there
up, but
for
no
just
drinks.
like it too.
Okay,
I'll grab a pound of cake for the road.
what are you doing, Gojin?
I'm bringing some orange juice for everybody up there.
Okay. All right, you all go up and go down the hallway and knock on the door. You know these rooms are really small looking. They're only like 10 by 10, and there's like a flood of 8 people. But you knock on the door, and you remembered what his word was. Money's the real magic. So you knock on the door and you go, money's the real magic. And the door, you guys watch this door swing inward, and what you see is a beautiful flower-encrusted hilltop with a cart of wagons, much like a gypsy caravan, around the top of this hill. There is a nice cobblestone path that leads all the way up to the top of the hill. Clouds are lightly, white fluffy clouds are floating in the sky, and birds are flying all over the place. This place is easily a quarter mile in diameter by a quarter mile, and the clouds are way up in the sky thousands of feet. As you step through the door shuts behind you, and you see nothing but a beautiful valley out behind you. You see up by the big fire pit, you say, Sarah, I'm up here. You see the gnome waving his hand.
Way back.
I start passing out the orange juice.
As you guys walk up and around, he has easily 12 large carts full of all kinds of stuff. And the cart sides break down to actually show the wares he has on the inside of them.
Yep.
You notice that there's a target off in the distance that's kind of smoldering.
Testing stuff out, are you?
Remember how he fought? He's a beam man.
Yep.
Yep, beam holes in it. What got a new pair of gloves? Yeah. Oh, hey. Welcome, friends of Sorrel. Did you add him to your charter yet? Better do that before you leave town. Remember? Gregordan was really touchy about it.
Do what? No.
Add him to the charter?
Yeah, you're right. I better do that.
So, New friends and new family. I am Josaka. I am a merchant that works between Varicia, Mwenge Forest, and also areas of Califas. I travel my wares and work primarily with now the Wheel and Broken inside of the Tall Hill Promenade in Karamaga. I have access of wares from every scope and group. Now, I don't know what Sorel has told you. I will not be cheated. You will not steal from me. I think Sorel can back me up here. I can melt a Tyrannosaurus Rex before I blink my eye. And I can do it at about 300 feet. He says it very sternly. Would you agree, Sorel?
Absolutely.
So, now that we're all on that basis, you understand that I can see that you're a rage-casting barbarian through all of the magic you have going, and I can see that you've got some holy things going on there, angel person, and we don't have any secrets here inside of my domain since this is my dimension. Do you understand? I created the world you're standing on. It only exists as long as I'm here. If I step out of it and close the door, you're in a time stop. You're basically fucked until I open the door again. So please, don't make me leave my room. You won't like it. Years can go by before I forgive you. So no thieves, no stealing. Watch those hands go, John. He smiles and laughs.
Wait a minute.
Never, never would I steal from you, oh great one.
Tanko. I appreciate it. Yes, what's the question? Oh, for those that are looking for shopping things. He begins explaining the kind of wares he has. He can sell wares to you that are in the 115,000 gold piece range and under.
Okay.
Oh my.
So if you have any extra gold sitting around and you'd like to shop with him, we can get that out of the way and you guys can do some shopping real quick, and then we can continue with roleplay. So why don't I give you guys 10 minutes to kind of figure that out. I'm going to use the restroom and I'll be back. But I do have access to any of that, including scrolls at high caster levels. Caster levels being upwards of 19th level and higher. I can get those scrolls for you if you need those. He can actually even get you high caster vocal devices as well. Golems are a little harder, but he does have a couple golems for sale if you need those as well. They're actually on the back sides of the cart. He has one mithril golem, and then he has one iron golem.
Would he be open to the temporary use of an item while in his plane? Like I give him money so I can use an item for a moment?
We'll talk about it when I get back.
Sounds good.
Okay, guys, I gotta ask, is anybody using Boots of the Earth?
What's that?
I don't have them, if that's what you mean.
Yeah. I was just wondering if it's allowed. It's a cheap healing item.
I don't see why it wouldn't be.
Like the fast heal one item. Yeah.
Sounds like a good one. I haven't got any much money at the moment. I was just interested. Window shopping, I suppose it would be for me.
Yeah. I ain't got much cash either, but I need to get myself free of this fucking locket.
I can lend somebody money.
I got about 40k, so I should be good.
I got 25. I'm not attached to it.
I mean, with everything that was being talked about, I was sort of thinking of some kind of a mind blocker thing. I haven't got the money to buy anything like that yet.
I can do mind blank, but I don't have enough spells to do everyone all day, every day.
No, I mean, you can get a ring of mind shielding and things like that, which may be quite useful in this case. I was thinking about that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not sure if I know about it in character, but an Iron Halo would also be fucking legendary and useful.
I don't know that one.
It keeps your soul from leaving your body ever. So you can't be raised dead while wearing it. Your soul can't get ripped out. It's just a blanket no statement.
Okay, that sounds like a good one to have for that. I have no idea. I don't think I've seen
Now, the downside of it is that it is 50k. But 50k to tell a necromancer to go fuck himself? Well worth it. Now, of course, the most important part of using that item, this is all out of game. The most important part of using that item is, remember, you cannot be resurrected while your corpse has the halo on.
Yes.
I can't find it, so I don't know what it's like.
We're looking for.
Iron Halo.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if that's what it's called. It's the general description of it. I can pull it up
That
on
would be in
Archive.
the shield if you made it. The piece of the shield.
Okay, that'd be
That
interesting.
shard of,
Yeah.
of the shield of Arneset.
I've got a couple of.
Yeah.
I've got like
Okay, bye.
hands free, head
Doing
free,
some research.
Mm-hmm.
feet free.
There is
At the
something
moment,
called
so-
the Pilgrim's Cave,
Mm-hmm.
and there are passages of text from
Yeah.
Aroden
Maybe we need to get some money
in these
first,
passages.
because
And
how
it
is money
says that
accumulated in
legend
this game?
has it
Because
that
everyone's
there
been
is
here a lot
power
longer
still
than me.
flowing through these caves.
Most
They
you
might
do
have some of
jobs,
it
make
too.
jank, or
The thing is, the caves
the
aren't
stuff
portable.
you kill in the field, you sell,
No,
find
but
money on
A
them.
piece of the shard is. So you could
Stuff
either.
like
That's a
that.
good idea. You could get him to the priest of the
Okay.
cave. Maybe he could.
If you do jobs, some of the people will
Or
give you even
get the
more
shard
stuff
to the
because
guy.
they're
Maybe he
happier
could.
that
Well,
the job.
the
you did
shard's
a
going to
really
have to
good
be
job, per
modified.
se.
Somehow somebody's got to do magical modification on it.
Or
Your
you
base
might
knowledge
come up with
arcane
something
says
on
it
your own
has
to
to be
make
made
jank.
into a device that
Just
can
run
power
it by
like
the
a
DM.
scroll. So maybe you could make it a blank
I had
page
a
or
couple
scroll,
of-
right?
I
that the
like
priest
the
could write
idea
the spell
of
out of his
making
memory onto,
a business.
and then cast it.
Yeah.
And that
An
scroll
arms
would bear the
business,
power. Maybe
'cause
that
like
would
I
be the
just
way
quite
you
good
do it.
at
You have to
crafting arms and stuff like
transform
that,
the
so
shard into a scroll page. Make sense?
that's one idea. I have
Big enough
got
to hold the spell. Maybe that would work.
further down the line.
Yeah, that's a little hard to do in the field.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is finding a place that doesn't already have one going. Like here, I wanted to start a business too, just to keep us up with money while they're doing research, but there wasn't a place open. They already had every spot filled, so I couldn't do nothing about that.
There's some pretty elaborate rules for setting up a business in the downtime rules of Pathfinder, but it doesn't make a lot, but it's a small kind of trickle that's pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Honestly, your best bet is buying tools of wondrous manufacture and using any item creation feats you may have in order to mass produce an item.
In game?
There's some
Yeah, if you
drugs that
inside
have
the
good
chat
street
window,
value that you could do that
let me show
with.
you inside
And stuff
of
like that.
Roll20,
I mean,
Go
how
forward
would Paladin
slash.
take us selling drugs?
and then
Oh,
go.
I said
it's
use
W,
drugs because it's what I.
space lowercase w, and then
But you
space,
also
and
have
then type in
fireworks,
SAR.
alchemical items,
You should
potions,
start
that
filling
type
in
of
his
thing.
name. It does a whisper to only him.
Alchemical items are really nice because
And
their
then do
price
space
can
again and
scale
then
up,
whatever you type.
so you can utilize the full
Thank you.
2,000 gold a day limit. That can be done in 1 hour, and 1 hour can be done pretty easily, unlike most crafting.
I have
By the way-
alchemical like 5th level, or 5 levels, or 6th level, something like that. So
I mean,
By the way, folks, I found that item. I dropped it into the chat. If I know of it, I'm buying it because it's way cheaper than I thought it was. I don't know of it, I can't say it and bring it up in game. So just keep that in mind.
Okay. No, I've taken stock of it.
Wow, yeah, it's a non-detection coupled with anything that targets the soul.
Yeah. I might be able to know of it because I have high ranks of spellcraft and knowledge arcana.
Technically, it doesn't stop you from being animated.
That's true. It's still better than nothing.
Well, because yeah, a lot of the shitty. It's like, hey, you're a skeleton. Your soul's not affected in that.
It does stop you from becoming a powerful type of undead.
Yeah, true.
Like an intelligent skeleton. But since we know a lot of shit hits the soul, it's not a bad thing to have.
No, it's not.
Pretty cool.
Just because, oh yeah.
And plus, the non-detection that
Thanks for what?
cannot be overcome.
Oh,
is
just go
stupidly good.
ZESK.
Oh yeah.
One
It
of the
makes sense.
ideas. Sorry.
Oh, it makes sense for me to want to have this item because pretty much every single item I have is defensive in nature, specifically against magic. But
One
Still,
idea
no.
I had for something to be able to do was to start to make weapons to help against the undead. So that was the business element, but if there's another business and I can become like a part owner or something, that'd be quite cool. So I have a few ideas.
Unfortunately, businesses just, they're not really profitable in this game. And a lot of that's decentralized from players hunkering down too hard. Kingmaker kind of made it a little bit better.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's
It's-
if you're not around your business, it starts to suffer. You have to like literally hire managers, which sucks a lot of the profit out.
Right. Okay.
That's
So like the real world.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's if you invest enough money in it and you have a long enough period of time, you'll make. But it's like a couple thousand gold. It's not super profitable. But in terms of, you have to think in terms of a regular person. That's very profitable. But to an adventurer, particularly at this level, it's chump change.
Right.
well, I mean, adventurers at this level are practically fucking Jeff Bezos. Money is-
we have literally walking around with kingdom's treasury worth of gold, items on us in gold value.
Just the low amount of gold that I'm carrying is well over 200 pounds in coins. That is fucking insane.
Yep. Okay, I'm back, guys. Did you guys figure out if there was any things you wanted to buy?
Absolutely. I was wondering if I know about the circlet of guarded souls. Kind of fits into my shtick. If I don't know about it, that's cool.
Knowledge
I'll
Arcane.
check on it.
Knowledge Arcane's the way you figure those things out. That's how we separate player knowledge from character knowledge.
Let me go back into the Discord. Or the Roll20, I mean.
Okay.
I accidentally closed out of it while pulling that up.
Oh, it happened. While you're doing that, Zaseka walks over to Gojin. So, Gojin,
Yeah.
when we were in the Blighted Forest, you found a dagger, didn't you? A short sword? On
If you
one of those
saw it.
murderers?
If you saw it, then yes, I got it.
It's the one that's keenly pointed towards your talents. True?
Which ones? The old talents or the new ones?
The old talents that come in handy.
Capital A blade.
Yes.
Yes.
Those are being hunted by a specific master. Coming from the Red Mantis group.
Yeah, I knew they were after me.
But I found something you might want. You got the blade? He's reaching into a fold of his cloak, and he brings out a little gem. Yeah, you know of it. And remember the pommel had a gem slot in it?
Mm-hmm.
He drops the gem into it. When he does, it glows light red. He goes, that's the stone that was missing from your blade. The hobgoblins never had one because they weren't anointed by this queen of that group. I did find one of the swords that was broken, but it still had the gem. So I told myself the next time I saw you, I was going to put the gem in the blade for you. Now, I do know this is what it does. If you successfully do that old talent you have that you do, you can choose to capture their soul. You can only hold one. And once you hold it, it's stuck in there. Unless you do like a wishy-wishy thing or somebody does a disenchant on that gem, it's not coming out. Now somebody could try to true res them, and there's a chance it would shatter the gem. But that's a chance. At least for a little while, you know you would have a kind of S in the hole. Now, limitations to this. The magic limitations I understand about the gem is it don't affect anything that's got a phylactery. If it's got a phylactery, you're fucked. It just won't do nothing to them. You know, you might be able to take the body out like you'd normally take the body out with your McStabbies, but they're going to come back. They're going to appear by the phylactery. They're going to be all pissed off at you. They're going to want their shit back, and they're going to come take it from you. So, take that into consideration. Okay? Cool.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So when it releases it, then where do they go? Will they still going to be captured, or will they still go to their deity?
No.
So we still need a cleric of Aroden.
That's the one that's in the thing. Yeah. That's the one you're searching for in the imprisonment.
You said okay.
What was that again? It broke up?
Okay, so if the soul is captured and I release it, will the soul...
You can't. You can't release it.
It's just stuck in the blade.
Yep, it's a one-shot pony. It's your way of going, fuck you, man. You're not coming back to fuck with me for a very long time.
Okay.
It actually ejects from the blade when you do that, so that the socket's open again. That way, if you want to give the fucker a toss, you can. Or you can stomp it. If you stomp it, there's a chance you destroy the soul, right?
Yeah.
But that would be an evil act.
Yeah, we can't have that.
Okay.
And what you want for this?
Services rendered, Gojan. Ikwad saved my ass a lot. You're one of his guys, and that's good enough for me, man. Plus, I want you to put in a good word for Ikwad, because I'm going to get him on that goddamn mithril wall, and when he gets that mythic forge fired back up, there's some shit I want built, goddammit. So you let him know. I'm not saying he owes me one, but he does owe me one. But I'm not saying he owes me one, okay? You get my drift? You know how this works? I'm a grease in your palm. Okay?
Hey, if these feet make it back there, you got it.
Now, I did hear a rumor that there was a specific group that worked for this Tarbaifon fucking guy up north that you might go see. He had a clerical building where they created the gems for these daggers because they were working originally for him as his servants, because he had shadow assassins that did this too, because he was trying to find a way of keeping like the big healers off of the battlefield, to stop them from doing big turnings and to stop them from doing things like resurrecting bad heroes that were kicking his guys' ass. So he thought this was a good way to do it. There may be extra ones up there if you find them. So be looking out. Look for the things. They could be there if you end up that way. You could get more.
Okay. Keep that on the top list, Sorrel.
All right.
Otherwise, I also have gyms if you all need it for the resurrection. I don't see Empress. She must be busy healing the people, right?
Yeah.
Is it true that Sir Doc is like on death's bed still?
Yeah. Since you were there when we found the jar.
Yes.
Turns out that thing's one of the canopic jars of
Azarani?
Azarani.
Not a bloodstone. You got a fucking bloodstone? Oh my God, Sorrel. What the fuck are you doing? You know who tracked those things? Them Grave Knight fuckers from like Nex.
That's what I was warning you, because one of them is camped out at Cracker Dan.
Well,
So-
I don't use the front door, you know. He kind of smiles and polishes off that big dwarven ring of his. They let me teleport right into town. Yeah, hey, helps me out a lot.
Yes, but they are on war footing, so
Oh, there's one there. So do you think I need to go help them? Is that what you're telling me?
I think they're okay. I'm just saying they may not be, it may not be free trade in anything for non-war footing period.
Okay. Well, I do know where Vargia and Mux are hanging out at. Maybe I should send them to Crag Rodan to help out. You think, eh?
It may not hurt. I'm sure they could use the help.
Yeah, there's nothing like a big ogre priest and a death druid to give you a kind of weird afternoon, right? Just saying.
Who knows what the heck will pop up in Varja's hand this time?
Yeah, there's that. That dragon heart was pretty fucking impressive. You guys told me about that, eh? Okay.
Yeah.
You hear, You hear the door creak open and he goes, "Oh, I got more visitors. I got to talk shop." You hear, "This extra dimensional space is in violation of the city's ordinance code." You see, all of a sudden, you see, Joseka. He throws his hands up in the air. He's like, "Come on, we can talk about this, guys. I'm not breaking any laws." You recognize the voice. You've heard it before. It's a deep human voice. He's like, "Damn it, Joseka. You acted the same way at the council." Sorrel, it is Sir Dak's voice.
Your deck.
Yeah, you see, for the rest of the group, you guys see a 56-year-old human come walking up. He's wearing what looks like mithril angelic full plate. He's got what looks like an andamite shield strapped to his back. It is obviously a gem-encrusted, multi-studded andamite rod on his left-hand side, along with a longsword as well. The rod kind of crosses through it. Anybody gets a passive knowledge, arcane 20 or higher, knows that is a rod of lordly might. Anybody that makes a knowledge history check of a 20 or higher realizes the symbols on his armament makes him a general of the forces of the Knights of Ozum, which is the predominant knight order inside of Vigil. He would be one of their generals. He's got scars on the right side of his face, and part of his staggly salt and pepper beard is burnt in that area. Looks like he shaved his face, a lot of it, but some of that hair is still over there a little bit, making him a little gruff looking. You see walking behind him is the Seraphim Knight, Sarah. You see Sarah poke out behind him. "Hi!" She waves her hand.
Nice.
I don't care what he's wearing. I'm running up and hugging him.
He gives you a big hug. "Thank you, Sorrel. Thank you for having Empress tend to me. I'm sorry it took so long for me to recover from those wounds. That Libertanian, I did not think things like that walked our world."
Nor did I, and I'm sorry I unleashed it and it hurt you the way it did.
"Oh no, this is what I do, Sorrel. I hold the line. I am he who lights the way. I stand before darkness, and I sacrificed my body, bone, blood, and soul to do these things. My family has done this since the first crusade. I will never stop this quest. If I die fighting one of those things, then that's a good way for me to die, and that is a good day for me to die. I thought I had seen it and was going to see Iomea that day. In some ways, I am glad I was snatched from that fate, because I don't think I would have had it at the hands of that Libertanian. The way it's able to do that negative energy burst and the things rise out of it scare me. And I do not fear easily. But I watched its burst destroy 2 whole flanks of my men, and rise them as undead to turn against their compatriots. I saw knights showing fear in their face that I thought I would never see the day to see that kind of fear. But the thing that hurts me the most is they're out there on that battlefield right now hurting innocents, those they swore never to harm. I saw some of them in their marks of the sword exploding as they were doing their vile deeds, but their strength were strong enough that they could withstand it. And all I could hear was the hideous laughter of that Libertanian in the background.
So he is a general within the army of this vigil place.
Yes. He comes walking up. Joseka. Just kidding. You're not under arrest. Oh, that's good. You see him stuffing his pockets with things. That's good. I'm glad I'm not going to jail. Temple's a bitch. He says, enough on razzing Temple. She does a great job. That's what she's supposed to do. Keep people like you in check. Well, it's okay. I get it, boss. I'm glad to see you up and moving around. I heard you got whammied by one of them dark guys. Yes. Yes, I saw the other one getting ready to take the battlefield, and that's when things went dark for me. New compatriots, I'm Sir Dak, Grand Knight of the Order of Ozum, Commander of the General Forces of Vigil. I am he who lights the way and rides out into conflict most supreme. I know your friend here, Sorrel, through the Dark Blight Council. He was part of a force that was led directly into a vault of Orav to stop an hobgoblin army of over 1 million, and did a great job. From that he brought a treaty. You travel with a hero of the land, at least in my eyes, and that's good enough for me. No, I came here, Sorrel, because I needed to tell you of this thing. As I had noted to you, the necromantic energies its wields, I do not understand. There is something in part of its armor that the Seraphim Knights that perished with us noted to me before we took the field of battle against it, to try to hold it away from Craig Rodan. It is an unusual stone. It is of white, gold, and silver, and it's kind of opulent, kind of shimmering quality. I have only heard of a stone like that in one other place through legendary depictment. And you see Sarah stick out. Yep, I'm the one that told him it's the same coloration as the Starstone in Absalon. So it might have a piece of one of those things. Oh my! Yes. Yes, thank you. We were actually coming here because we heard Zuseka was here. Oh man, I don't got nothing to do with trading no stones. I don't carry that kind of gear here. I got a cap, man, and got like powered stones. That's beyond what I sell. It was no Joseka. We know you have a flash of intellect that pierces through the veil and gives truthful answers. We need to know if it's true that they're wielding those. Oh, you mean you want me to wear my tiki mask and shit then, huh? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Oh, that's different then, boss. Sure, I can do that for you. I gotta get my flash of prescience up and a few other things, and then I'll be ready to do it, okay? Hey, Sorrel, man. Do a guy solid and put a prescience in the mark, man?
It's in there.
Oh, cool. All right. See him rub his shoulder. You guys all feel this for a moment. You'd felt this energy around you, that tingling sensation. Now that he's calling it, you guys can do a knowledge arcane on it. If you get higher than a 20, you realize there was a spell floating between your marks that any one of you could have called out. And when he does, you watch the symbol, the birthmark, shimmer as see him begin casting a spell he has no right to probably cast, but he does. And then he sits down and you guys watch him touch his helmet, or his turbany hat, and as he touches it, you watch it fold down into a full, like, tiki mask. As I start the ritual, Sir Dak, you got to word what it is you want to know. Can you word this for me, Sarah? Yeah, I got this. She walks over. You guys, you've seen it before. You've seen Jessica go into his ritual. He brings out a few candles, starts lighting it. They burn for a little while. He lights a little bit of incense. You hear him chanting a little bit. You see him float up a little bit. He goes, go ahead and answer me the question. She goes, are the Grave Knights armor embedded with starstone material? You see his eyes flash like a star as he looks up towards the sky as beams come out of his eyes. See energy cascade around him as he sucks it all back in. Oh shit, yeah! They got pieces of starstone stuff. They got it from somewhere called Zopalto. What the fuck? They got like god metal stuff. I understand they got fractures of it. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, guys, you gotta get this. Okay, you know by the like ancient history stuff, the Abelis were warring with the first humans that were like godlike, and they were called the Zanti, right? And their war like lasted for thousands of years, and eventually the Abelis used a great power to call a mountain out of the sky and totally smash their entire country, right?
Yeah, the Earthfall.
That Earthfall part was what Aroden dove into the ocean where his home city was at and rose up a piece of that rock. Zopal was in the range as it was falling. Pieces of it fell off there. There's more Starstone stuff, and Nex must have known about it. Shit, that's why Nex and Geb were able to fight so long. They were using Starstone power. That's gotta be like that Eldritch shit we came across, man.
Do I know? I'd like to know a little more about Starstone, my character.
Go ahead. All you gotta do is knowledge arcane.
Oh yeah, with these rolls, not really.
There you go.
Really.
So you're looking confused as they're talking about this. He says, well, that's kind of crazy. Okay. That was pretty tough, Dax. I gotta rest now. If you guys don't mind, you see him snap his fingers and you see all the cards close up. He goes, I'm actually going to rest, so I'm going to ask everybody. Sorry, Dak, I know you're just back around, but you know... He goes, I understand, Josiah. I've been told this really taxes you doing this. Yeah, it does, man. It does. But, Sorrel, I think you need to come back and ask me a question next week, too, man. Don't you?
I do.
Okay. There's a reason I'm here. And Ashada said she saw you, and I thought that was a coincidence. I ran into Ashada on a day I don't normally deal with her level in the Wheel Unbroken, man. But we bumped into each other, which was weird. And I don't believe in weird. I believe in potence and future precognitive things. So that's what that was. Precognition to come here. That's why I'm here. Well, there were other vendors bringing magic items here, but I knew you guys were here, so I just figured I would take their loads. So I'm going to stay here for at least another week, but I got to take off the week after that. There's something brewing. I don't think things are going good for Craig Ladan because I haven't got any feedback from Caliburton. You should check in on him or at least do your thing, man. I know you got a better in with him than I do. I'm going to go sleep now, guys. Not trying to be a party pooper, but, he snaps his fingers and sun slowly sets. Twilight comes up. Moon. You hear the owls hooting and stuff like that. Because I got to go to sleep. I got to rest this one off a little bit. Only a couple hours. I'll be back up in 2 hours. 2 hours. Only 2. 2 and 2, I'm up, guys. Knocking my door again.
I'll step out of the door if you want.
And always remember,
Back down to the bar.
gold is the true power, not magic.
So, what exactly does them having Starstone in their armor mean, other than it's probably really hard to fully destroy them?
It'd be good to know, because I got a feeling Starstone helps against negative energy.
Anybody who made the knowledge arcane, was it? No. What was you saying?
Is it the same stars that I'm dealing with Aroden?
No.
Star
Well-
City?
Yeah, that city. Yeah, that stone that's made people gods. So it's that same one. It's parts of it.
Oh, I want to come back.
Okay. Go ahead. You guys all come out of the extra dimensional space into the hallway. It's very crowded. There's another guy out in the hallway going, "Whoa, hey, man, just pass us through, man. Head to the bar. Head to the bar."
So are we.
Okay. You come downstairs. A few of the people have cleared out of the bar. It's still kind of noisy. As you guys come out and come downstairs, you see Kitty downstairs in the bar having a drink. You broke up.
Oh, apologies. I was wondering if we were able to make our purchases before this incident
Yes,
happened, or
absolutely.
if that
Absolutely.
happened.
All purchases were done before Sir Dak showed up. As you guys come back down into the...
And
Go ahead.
would I have known with the check I sent you?
You could have asked for something to protect your soul, and that's basically what he would have told you. So if you would have asked for something there, I can give you that. If you asked for something to protect your soul. If you were just going off of memory, then no, you didn't know about it, so you couldn't buy it. It depends on if you want your character to ask a little gnome, "Hey man, do you got something to help protect my soul if I go into a land that might resurrect me and make me a bad guy?" Then he would turn around and go, "I got the perfect thing for you." Cool.
I'm gonna ask for something along those lines.
He would have given you that then.
I don't know why, but I find it hilarious, just the mental image of this, no offense, a little Hispanic gnome, basically.
Yes, that is Joseka. I cannot take the credit for the design of this character. This was my oldest son's character when he was playing my campaign. So this is his character, so he was an adventurer with them. He just twilighted the character and retired him. And as with all characters, in case you guys didn't know that, I keep the personas you guys kind of do with them going, and they stay in the world until there's a reason that they would die. So that's why my games span decades. And people keep coming back. Because you do run into old characters if it's in the same time frame. Alright. So, you guys come down to the bar, and there are like 8 knights down there. These dudes are in full angelic plate mail. You're looking at probably 200,000 worth of just weaponry gear on the backs of these guys standing down there. And as they come down, you watch them snap to attention as Dak hits the floor. So, alright guys. So I gotta go report into Zagrol what my findings are. I got a name for you, Sorrel.
You do?
Yes. Avoli. 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 When I was a young cadet, my grandfather told me, my great-grandfather told me a story about an agent of Aroden that helped him on the field of battle. It was an axiomite by the name of Avoli. Just because Aroden perished doesn't mean the axiomite might have. If you're researching things on Aroden, that would be the way to go. Besides, Kitty! Besides your own Kitty, LeBang.
Hi!
He walks over to you. Kitty, I'm glad to see you've survived.
Give him a hug and...
Thank you. Varja doing okay? Hope she's taking care of my grandmother's shield. Yeah, Varja?
Yeah, we haven't spoken in a while. Varja's...
You guys have a falling out? It happens. Tell her I said hi if you see her.
Will do so.
I've got to return to the war console up in the Watcher's store. Thank you very much for everything you're doing, Sorrel.
Thank you for everything you do.
You know, I think when we hit the field of battle, I think the Libertanians were about done with Craig Rodan. I don't think they have anywhere else to go but here.
Yeah.
I don't know how much time you have. I know I've been out for almost a year. I can't think you got any more time, my man.
I don't think I do either.
Alrighty. Well met. He gives you a salute. Him and his men walk out. You hear the kind of harumphing of horses out there, and you hear a screech of something that sounds like a hippogriff.
Okay, Kitty's gonna come over and grab a chair from a different table and.
Hey, I was about. Oh, it's you! I saw you perform. Ah,
I'm sorry.
you can have my chair.
I didn't know you were in the chair. I'm sorry.
There was only one chair, and you took it. He wasn't in the chair. He didn't fall on his butt. He was getting a drink and coming back, but he's like okay with it. He recognized who you are. You're a very famous person.
Okay, well, I didn't mean to take your chair. I didn't think anybody had it. But anyway, Sorrel, I just found out the coolest thing ever.
What's that?
Okay, so there is this place called the Starstone, and they have a cathedral on the Starstone, and once you walk in the front door, you go through these trials and tribulations and all kinds of fun stuff, and you can walk out an actual god. Oh my god. Could you imagine Kitty LeBang, a god?
What could you be a god of?
I mean, that's, well, I mean, everyone knows Caden became that way. He doesn't know how he became that way. He did
that's right.
wrong.
You hear the barkeep go, yeah, that's right. He got drunk and stumbled into that place and came out and got a drunkenness. That's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. But, you know.
Every barkeep knows that story. He's our patron deity around here. Hail Caden! Hail Caden! Everybody lifts a glass.
I mean, not like I would want to become a god, but you know, it still would be cool. Yeah. Starstone. When I was reading about that in Absalon, and I think a lot of people don't really realize what it is, but they call it star stuff. Does that make any sense to you?
It's of the stone, I imagine, but...
Yeah, but it was like this city was raised on the Starstone because of... I'm so sorry. I got so excited with Kitty LeBang the god that I need to find my notes. Hang on a second.
She goes whipping into her purse and brings out her messenger bag. She's bringing out her book of one of her many tombs because she fashioned her bag of holding to look like a purse.
Oh, yeah.
Knowledge on the knowledge religion.
24.
Wait,
Yes,
you're telling me.
absolutely. That knowledge would give you that.
Yeah, it's strange they call it Starstone, but Aroden raised it from the sea.
Well, it's
fell
probably
from the sky long before Aroden. Then.
well. The stone was actually in the place of the inner sea where the mountain fell. So it was after, because if you look at the inner sea, that big strip and then the circle area, that's the path that the meteor struck and sunk the city of the Azadi. And then he went down and rose the city out of it. And in the center he rose that starstone, and he used its power to create the entire landmass that became Absalon. So it actually came from the star fall. That's the misnomer. The star stone came from the star fall.
And that was it the Aboleth that called it down?
Yep. And that's what Anybody that made their knowledge history that was higher than a 25 understood Zagrul understood that there was somebody trying to manipulate the Abyss magic and do it again. And that's what Zagrul helped stop. That was part of Second Darkness. We ran that campaign, Second Darkness.
I don't quite know what this star stone does, but it does sound interesting. Maybe
sounds like it greatly amplifies power of magic and divinity, and it grants it as a source.
Say it again, sorry?
It sounds like it grants a power over like creation and divinity. Because if Aroden could use it and become a god and create an entire city and put it in the middle of it and say anybody who bests its challenges can become a god, that right there just says its power over magic and divinity is unquestionably stronger than anything else.
And if a drunk can come out, oh my god, imagine what I could do.
But one would think when this thing fell from the sky, maybe parts of it fell off in other places. Now, I'll give a knowledge religion, and this is a very high one. This is in the 40s. To know about Zopal. It's actually Zopal.
Religion?
Can't even get into the 40s, but I can get close.
Religion?
If I roll a 20, I can get there. Not getting any other way.
Zapotl.
Like,
Zapotl is the home country of Ozerani. Ozerani was said to have met Aroden in Zapotl when he was still an adventurer. Because Aroden was originally an adventurer.
wait. Are you sure it's Chipotle?
It's Xopatl.
Oh, so it's not Chipotle spelled
Nope.
fancy.
Nope.
Gotcha.
Zapotl. Xylophone.
Like a xylophone.
Mhm.
Sure, okay.
Well, that sounded like Pac-Man attacking Dig Dug. Whoever spoke there, that was pretty damn cool. I'm not kidding. It made me want to play Dig Dug really bad.
Oh, let me check to see if static is leaking out on my end.
Oh, it's cool. It was just for a second that something happened. So,
We are easily distracted.
yeah. Ooh, shiny. Well, you realize that Azerani comes from Zapotl.
Mm-hmm.
Azerani's bloodstone is what you guys are carrying around.
Yes.
So, and the Grave Knights were Knights of Ozim that were created, were they originally Knights of Ozim, they were turned into Grave Knights to guard Azerani and her bloodstones.
Uh-huh.
So somehow, maybe Azerani already knew about Starstone stuff. Because you see, history's kind of like, well, you know, these things happen, but they never really say that this stuff is like, well, what happened in what order, and how did Aroden know there was this Starstone thing at the bottom of it? Maybe his travels with Azerani introduced him to it, and then he thought later on, wait, my city was destroyed. Maybe there's a large site of it there, and went and researched it and found out it was there. You know, those parts of what really happened, the bits, the little unknown, how did I know these things, bits get lost in history. Because the major things get pointed out. He rose the Starstone. He created an island. He put it on top of the temple. You know, those things are like, hey, those are the big biblical kind of things. You know, the fact that, well, I had to write how he got there, or somebody had to figure out where it was at, gets kind of lost in history. So maybe Zapotl has some of this material. Because what has been described by Sir Dax to the party,
Okay.
and you got it, Sorrel, with your knowledge religion, is these anti-paladins are able to do a negative energy burst. And when they do their negative energy burst, it does not just do necrotic. It doesn't do just negative energy damage. It does a type of necrotic damage. And if it kills you, it instantly converts you to an undead under their control. And by the way, he said that the bursts were doing parts of his flanking infantry. That means it's greater than a 60-foot radius. We're talking this burst must be able to go off in an area less than a quarter mile. There's no priest, evil or good, walking the planet that can do that you've heard of.
I'm not sure what this...
The
sorry.
pure embodiment of negative energy and horrible rituals that create you. Yeah, I mean,
Or he's using a
It's
vocal
weird.
device to amplify his power.
Yep.
Which would
is
mean if
exactly
there's a
right.
focal device, like holy men have their holy symbols, and wizards and stuff sometimes have focal devices.
so I guess he probably has something horribly corrupted beyond all belief.
So there's another thing for you to figure out.
I'll sort of put my hand up and say, I'm still new to all whatever is going on here, but I am wondering whether this stuff can be used against them. Star stuff. So maybe create a positive energy?
My intuition's. Well, let's go talk about this with the college.
Okay, you guys go all the way back over to the college. I'm not going to make you move maps. I'm just going to leave you in the bar. But you're at the college. You set up the room. Takes you about another couple hours. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Anybody not go to the college to have a talk?
That would be me.
Okay, you stay at the bar. You guys get into the room. You do the rituals, Sorrel, and you lock it down.
Okay.
You guys can now talk freely.
Honestly, the Starstone sounds like a focus more than it actually emits something. Because when used by a goodly aligned god, it creates gods, but when used by the Grave Knight, it did terrible shit. We need to capture a piece for ourselves.
I agree. This sounds like a very, very interesting piece to look at. One of my ideas that I had was if we can blanket an area with positive energy, a negative area with positive energy, maybe we can even stop the undead menace or drain them of their ability.
If we get our own piece, we're at least on equal footing with them. In theory.
Almost like a hyper-powered hollow.
Yeah.
We do need to know more.
Kitty, you can do a knowledge. History. Actually.
What I'm curious about is I wonder if I planted in my axe if I could carve those gemstones out of their chest.
You want to just write it down and I'll read it verbatim?
No. I'm going to speak as Kitty for a moment, guys.
Remember, you gotta use the happy voice.
I'll try to use that. I'll try to use the happy voice. There we go. So Kitty says, "Oh! I got this! I know. There was a plague before the Spellfire Plague. Not to be confused with the Spellfire Plague. It was called the Walking Stone Plague. But this plague happened like over 2 decades ago. And what happened is there was this white stone that was kind of dug up in the coal area and over in Osirian and stuff like that. They found this white and gold stone, and this white and gold stone was found to enhance kind of more divine stuff. And what they found out is it was actually the body of an astral dead god that fell on the world that they were mining. So it was enhancing their divine energies, but it was trying to heal itself. And the god was actually made of stone. So it was turning them to stone the more they used it. Maybe it's like that. It is a total divine amplification device, which means in Osirian, there were mages and priests who studied how to manipulate the stone. That means, I'm pulling this all together, that means maybe Azarani in her studies, because she was a wizard before she met Aroden, had already studied the stones. So maybe if we find her old lair or her old city or her old town, maybe we would find information and we could research her notes and know how to modify this stuff. Come on, guys. We're like really, really powerful. We don't look for other people to do this stuff. We kind of do it on our own.
I'm with you. It sounds interesting. I really like this idea of training the weapon of the enemy, possibly against them.
But I'm thinking there might be a downside to this too.
There always is.
Okay. Aroden created this temple and put challenges inside of it so that people couldn't get to the stone easily, right?
Yeah.
And then gods were kind of born if they do make it to it. Well, if this shit's just laying on the ground in a place, imagine what happens if a giant crocodile or let's say maybe a dire warg happens to step by the stone and touch it. We'd be going to a place that's like really, really, really scary. And I mean, she's looking at you and going, I mean scarier than the dark plates, Ralph. I'm done talking for you.
Thank you.
I thought you said that there's a downside. You're telling me we go there, pick up the stone, and kill the shit out of something that's impressive? Why aren't we leaving already?
What he's saying is that there could be a crocodile that ate a chunk of starstone and is now a godly powered crocodile.
Yes! That doesn't
And
sound
I'll
fun.
kill it.
Colossal crocodile.
Loki.
Hey, I'm gonna have to go out and get my epic book and start converting.
Loki.
I mean, there's also the possibility that the starstone needs some type of catalyst and just contact with it isn't enough.
Yes, we need to research this.
We should go in there thinking everything's dangerous, but there's no guarantee. We just don't have enough information.
Well, that's the hard part. We have. Yeah, you're absolutely right. 99.9% of the stuff is probably harmless. It's the 1 in 1,000 alligators that, has the strength of a god.
And the 4,000 years since it fell.
I didn't realize that the starstone had split into fragments. It's interesting.
That means it's actually acting like a real meteorite.
I like this idea. Someone offered me money as a loan until I can get some of my own. Is that offer still there? Because I think we should go
How much
do
you
it.
need.
If you guys want to go on like a boring field trip, there is a place on the Cordis Mounts. Yeah, and there's a cave that tells the tale of Aroden in his own words. It's like pictographs in a cave. I mean, that sounds incredibly boring, but if we need to know something, I don't know, important that isn't important, I don't know.
Honestly, I'm all down for the god crocodile. If I kill that son of a bitch, I finally get to be overlord. Let's go.
You are a man of simple pleasures, aren't you? Really.
Hey now,
Eh.
I want to be the god first. That's my idea.
Well,
Well, at least we won't be expecting undead right there, right?
The slightly boring one, if it's going to give us information about this, then I'm all for that as well. But if everyone wants to just go kill crocodiles, I can live with that. But I'm always for getting more info.
Just watch, it's not going to be crocodiles, it'll be lemmings.
I'm perfectly fine putting down horrible, unnatural monstrosities of nature because they shouldn't exist in the first place.
Exactly. We're doing the world some good and returning balance to nature, and in the process getting a godly artifact. But that part's not important.
No.
What's important is doing the right thing. Kind of.
Yeah.
Out of character. Okay, G.I. Joe.
Okay, so the only thing left is to find somebody to finance this. That is to pay for what we already want to do.
Wait a minute.
you don't have to.
You're getting paid?
Yeah, wait a minute, are we getting paid for any of this? Have I been paid? Sorrel, are you holding out on us?
Apparently, I didn't know to ask.
Hey,
So you telling me you're gonna look at the world and go, freebies are up, bitches?
Oh,
if we can
magic
find someone
words.
to
What's
pay us
in
to
it
do
for
this
me?
job, I'm all for that as well.
We can always go with the old pay style of whatever shit we find on the ground is our money. Sure, there's bound to be something valuable near or wherever this stone is located.
I thought we were just in it for the adventure.
Well,
Shit.
I mean, Darmus is our quartermaster, and well, each of us individually is, probably not incredibly rich. At least the party itself has stuff we could pull.
Sorrel, in the middle of your talking, all of a sudden, the orb in the middle of the room turns red. As the walls begin to glow red, as you hear all of a sudden a bell ring through the entire building.
Oh, fuck.
As the bell rings, you automatically see the door open up as you see Yanni come in. Yanni's like, Sorrel, out of here now! As you see, she's pointing towards the door, as you see 3 other mages, and you see one of the magus come in, and she doesn't have her owl with her. Her name's Hiren, and that's the Procinitari. As she comes in, you see her start whipping around a spell as the globe starts turning into a golden hue. As you see the entire building begin to shimmer as you watch those geometric lines begin to appear in the walls. As you guys move out of the hallway and out into the main courtyard, you watch the irises on the top of the towers open the domes up. As they open, you see a beam come straight up above the building as it cascades into the ceiling above. As you're watching dark clouds coming in from the south slowly. They're just slowly billowing over, but they've got like a blackish green radiance to it. You see Hiram walk up to the sphere as she begins doing an ancestral call spell. She says, I call upon you, Talian, Solar of the first core, second knighted of the gods Sind. I call you now for your aid. As you watch the orb begin to glow, as you see it rip open into a shining realm. As you watch a gold-skinned fellow about 12 feet tall step through with 6 wings. I hear the call. We are in need of your defense. Zagral has sent for you. I hear the ancient call. You hear him say, my core to me. As you're standing in the outside courtyard, you watch the sky above you rip open as you see this circular sphere of energy appear out of nowhere. As you see a blue sky behind it, as you see 14 angels shoot through it. As they hit the area on the outside of it, they turn into beams of light. And you can hear explosions going on outside the city. You're not sure what's going on. You see one rise right into the middle of the courtyard by where you guys are at. As he slams into the ground, he leaves an impact crater as rocks slowly float up into the air around him, almost like a halo of earth but around his waist. As you see those rocks come up, you see him move his hands as you watch them turn golden and glow as they switch over into what look like holy symbols. As you see him cast them up into the sky as they begin to put like a shield up into the air as you see 4 more angels coming in to grab it. All of a sudden you hear trumpets going off across the entire area. You're seeing knights flow out as you watch the circle area that you know is the stable. You've seen this before. When they realign it to the gate, you watch this kind of like a sphere move throughout the city to the gates to wherever they're sending the knights out of the extra dimensional pocket where they keep the stable. You watch this warp over towards what looks like the eastern gate. As it turns around and hits over there, you can hear thousands of horses coming out. As more and more trumpets go off. What are you guys doing?
I am hauling ass to go to wherever I think my weapons might be.
You know those are held in an extra dimensional pocket, and those are controlled by the city guards.
Okay.
The person that has control of them is the one that walked in there and opened up a portal and summoned a solar through it.
So, how
Do I
do you
recognise
find
Solar, from any of the new?
Yes, you've seen those types of angels before. You don't recognize this one personally, but you've seen that type of angel before.
Wait, why would we be needing weapons if they're summoning up a really good being?
Because why the fuck would they summon that unless we were in deep shit?
Because the enemy's
Well-
at the gate.
I'm looking at Sorrel, expecting orders or something.
Okay, everybody who has a sword mark on you. It's not you, Kitty.
I know it's not me. Don't have to rub it in.
If you have a sword mark, you are now on top of a battlement on the wall. You see 2 seraphim garb, which are the red-cloaked, knight-looking wizards, incantating a portal as you guys appear, as if you were summoned. You feel your mark sting on the side of your hand. You see Sigrol standing up there, and you also see next to him is Roland. Hey guys. Look, he points behind him. As you're looking at him and you turn your view away from this 7'6" half-orc in what looks like thick andamite plate mail. I mean, this shit's like almost 2 inches thick. You see he's got what looks like an arami on his side. For those that don't know what an arami is, it is an Absalonian weapon. Think poison ivy from Soul Calibur. It is a chain blade that locks into the place of actually being a longsword. But his is bastard sword size. You see it is in his hand. The segmented pieces of it kind of twirl on their own. As you look out, you can see the forest to the south. You'd seen it before, but you can see it is bleached and darkened. Withered trees in its place. You can see what looks like maybe 200,000 undead coming from the south. An area you've never had forces come from before, anybody that's been in this town. You can see walking across the battlefield is a 32-foot tall black knight. This guy's armor looks like a giant dragon skull was hollowed out and made his chest plate. This colossal dragon skull rips around his back and his horns form in because it was a black dragon, almost like it holds onto the center, but there's only dark black energy inside of it. You can see some of his rib cage showing through because the flesh is tore off. On top of that is a black helmet with glowing red eyes in the middle of it. That helmet floats above with a little bit of necrotic energy, but you can still see the spines of his spinal cord coming up into the helmet. So there is some physical matter to him. Black gauntlets come down off the arms where you can see some bones around the necrotic energy. Otherwise, besides that, all you see in his hands is what looks like the bones of a large dragon turned into a bow. The string looks like its flesh is wove through it. He has no missiles with him whatsoever. As the host comes out, you see him tear off one of his own rib bones as he puts it into the bow and fires this ballista shot. It arcs a quarter mile across the battlefield and hits the first company of knights as they come out with an explosion of negative energy, melting their horses and flesh. As they're melted and their bones are ripped off, you watch worms slide back into their bodies and their actual bones. As you watch them become encased in what looks like a Baroque armament. As dark energy flows to their eyes, as 100 of them are turned immediately. You see him point as you see what looks like undead storm giants coming out of the forest behind him. As they're aiming towards the walls, you see them start throwing black rocks of burning pitch. That's what you see out there. As the girl looks back to you, I take it this is the friend you told me about.
Yep.
I can't hold these for very long. I'm saying I don't know if it's going to be 2 weeks or a month at most. Go get your fucking shit done and deal with this, man. Go get it done now. Grab your group. Do whatever you need to do. I have Magister Hiram. She is at the Mages Guild. She is waiting there to help you with any spell casting you need, any gates or portals you need. She can realign it. Right now, we're setting up the Forbiddens to go out about a quarter mile, but that is going to tax the city. It will keep them at bay for a while, but I've never had to keep that Forbidden set for more than a week. I do know it causes the tower to not glow as brightly. Do you need anything else from me, Sorrel? I won't talk to you again.
Sorrel, we need a piece of the shield.
He kneels down to you, Sorrel, so he can look you in the face. I've got the vision. We won't meet again. Do you understand me?
I do.
I will hold the line.
Sorrel, we need the shield. Piece of it. Just a little bit.
I need a piece of the shield. If
Sir!
I
You see him look over, he goes, Chalasius, Seraphim, you go with him. He needs a piece of the shield of Arnesis. The shield? You heard me! Get it moving. Go there now. Tell Prosenatori Hiram that this is what's going to happen before they go. Now get these guys out of here. She goes, hey guys, give me a second here. You don't mind if I name you all on a spell real quick, do you? She's reading really quickly, and she does a windwalk spell. 30 seconds later, you guys are all turned into little puffy clouds as you whip through the city. And at that, guys, next time.
Sure.
As you're wind walking through the town. So, I will make some notes here, and we'll be ready to game in 2 weeks, guys and gals.
So are we going to be fighting then, or are we going to be fleeing?
That's going to be up
Just
to you
a
guys.
party?
That's up
What?
to you guys' decision.
Okay.
That's totally up to you guys.
No, some of us don't have a choice. Those of us with the mark, we have to fight. That's part
No,
of
no,
the
no, no,
reason
no.
of having the mark.
Nope, it's only when you're called to help and you're not being called to help. So you
To
don't.
go.
No one's bound by their mark to have to fight in this endeavor. This endeavor is baggage the party brought here. This is not what Vigil normally fights against. So they're not calling for reservists to come to battle. Okay? You all know that. So don't feel like you're obligated to stay and fight because you have the mark. That's only showing that you have a right to carry weapons, own property, and if the call goes out across the land to support Vigil, you will be indented to kind of do it, or the mark might go off. That's not happening right now.
Yeah, this is our own drama.
So what do they
What?
teleport everyone with the sword mark for exactly then?
That was just a summoning spell that can be done inside of town to bring anybody with a sword mark to the battlement. That's the
Okay.
Witcher Lord. That's the Watcher Lord's ability to call his direct servants and direct. Just direct servants is the best way to look
So-
at it, to an area.
Basically making us aware that something's happening so we can make a choice.
Exactly.
Let you see the battlefield.
Yeah, because you guys are powerful enough bashers. He's not just going to tell you what you need to do. He's not your boss. You know, if anything, you guys are all kind of equals, and that's the way Zigrol always kind of rolled too. So, true, Brian?
Yeah.
Because that Zigrol was Brian's old character, by the way, guys, about 7 years ago. And no, he didn't plan on running this city.
No.
You didn't even like leading a group.
Yeah. I only played a paladin because it was the first time, and I'm 52 now. It was 10 years ago when I rolled him, I think it was. So 42. It's the first time I'd ever rolled 3 18s as stats. So I was like, I had to play a paladin. The only chance I figured I'd ever have.
Yeah.
See, the weird part is like, I remember back in 2nd edition, back when stat requirements were a thing, and like, Paladin's stat requirements were so ridiculous.
Zigrol was a 3-0 paladin.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, that was back in like 2nd edition. Like, you almost had to have those ridiculous stats.
Oh, hell
Just
yeah,
to
you
have a
did.
Paladin because of stat requirements.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember 2nd edition Paladin Charisma, and it needed to be something like 70.
Yeah. And it was a straight 3d6 roll.
Yeah.
In
Yes.
order.
Yep.
Yeah.
3 18s, man.
First and second editions where you ended up with entire parties full of rogues because everybody rolled shitty fucking stats. And everybody could come up with at least one line to have it in their decks to be a rogue. Well, thanks everybody. I hope you guys all had fun. I'm going to go ahead and drop out of the chat here real quick and
So-
see everybody in 2 weeks.
Who's all up for fighting? And who's up for
Yeah, have a
running?
good one.
Leave them in there to talk.
Okay.
They're figuring, who's going to stay and fight and who's going to go?
I'm not even there. I overplayed. I hope you realize that.
It's alright. I brought you anyhow. Because he did a summoning spell, which is like a gate. That's what they did. And the gates name people, and people come through the gate. So
Okay, well, I'm just saying.
you come through a gate unless you have a spell resistance.
Okay.
Good stuff. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Good storytelling?
Yeah.
So like me weaving just like back in.
No, I was doing research. So I was like, oh, I've got to have Kitty do research, so I need to do research.
It's neat when you read about Aroden, huh?
So I found this.
That's a lot about him.
Yeah. And it actually did say that those caves with the writing in them tells in his words.
What happened?
So that was, and then of course the Starstone thing.
Yep. Starstone Cathedral.
Yes. Did you like that? Or like, I found a place. You can walk in and become a god.
It's like, all
And
right.
there's just all this other weird shit too, but you can become a god. Sorry, I got distracted.
The whole Kitty becoming a god thing. See, these guys in my campaign had to go through the epic where they create these seeds that cost 1,000,000 gold pieces, and then they carry these seeds of energy around. Or literally, they don't appear until you summon it. But imagine this: you're walking along, and this guy turns around and does this movement of his hands, and this sphere appears, crackling with energy of either like vines crackling around it, and leaves spinning around it if it's earthen, and electricity if it's like electricity and stuff, darkness if it's evil.
Can you make sure that I am out of that chat? I did the hang up thing, but I don't know.
Yeah, you're not in it.
Okay, cool.
See, it shows you in the voice under Pathfinder,
Yeah.
and if you double click on that, then you would go into it,
Yeah,
and your
I
name
just-
would be there.
I just hung up, so.
Okay. Well, I don't think you had a microphone going anyhow.
No, I had it muted.
Yeah, so they wouldn't have heard you anyhow. They're all chatting away.
Oh,
Don't need me there.
oh,
Oh, it's a red panda.
I got. Oh, all the pictures went away. Oh, sweetie.
Oh, that's really cute.
That's only half of them, but that's what I bought for $3.
Oh, that's cute. I like those. It's pretty neat.
There are more. That was the one I was looking for.
Very cute. I'm going to type some things in here for my notes.
We're all gonna die. These are cute. Wish I could make cute dice like this. But I suck.
Yeah. Oh, I gotta turn this off.